We live. Oh, whoa. You're watching Eats, Beats, and Rhymes. I'm your host, Jules DJ. Welcome back to another episode of Who Do You Got? The show where we take two of your favorite hip-hop giants, artists, crews, albums, etc., and have them go round for round to answer the overall question, who do you got? Before I introduce everybody, let's just talk about this battle real quick. It's legendary. It's iconic. People have talked about it for a while on the forums and on the chat rooms and all that shit. Hip hop legends will definitely be going down to Hip Hop Hall of Fames if we ever eventually get one. We're talking about the legendary Queens-based Tribe Called Quest versus the Atlanta-based collective duo known as OUTKAST. Give it up. Eats, Beats, and Rhymes. Who do you got?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So my man Triple C, what's going on, baby?
All right. You know who I'm going with?
Who are you? You look very, like you're representing very properly in the background there. 50.
Yeah, going with the Queen's bedrooms.
I had to say I'm shocked.
Yeah, you were gonna do that. Let's go from the East Coast all the way down to the West Coast. Talking to my man Cool Breeze in the building. West Coast living. What's going on, Breeze?
What up? What up? What's up, fellas? How's it going? I'm gonna go with the Tribe, man. I gotta go with Queen's finest.
You don't say.
I'm surprised with that one.
Tribe Called Quest.
You don't say.
Going back to the East Coast, we gonna drop in on what we like to call respectfully, I guess by all definitions, the South representation of what's going on in the building tonight. My man DJ Hobo, 2 up, 2 down. What's going on, man?
Very easy for me to say both of them in this situation.
Very easy. Very easy.
However, because I am dealing with respectfully, a bunch of New York cats, I'm going to represent OUTKAST this evening.
Okay.
Right.
I think I know where DJ Scanless is going. Is dropping all those Southern OKs. But okay. I think I know which way this is. I could be wrong. I'll be the first to admit I could be wrong. DJ Scantastico, you heard
Yo, Claudio, what's going on, man?
You heard what he said. You know what's going on. The VA representing for the South. They obviously feel more closer to the South than they do in the East, which graphically makes no sense to me. But geographically is what I meant to say. But when we talk to you, an East Coast representative, a South Jamaica Queens representative, Merrick Boulevard, not far from Linden Boulevard representative.
I like how you're selling me right now, baby. I like the production. I like the salesmanship. I live in Tribe Called Quest territory. Of course, I could say both of them. I want to say both of them, but I don't know if I could go outside anymore. So to Tribe Called Quest all day.
Oh shit! Very well. Listen,
I'm surprised.
it goes without saying. Like I said, we knew this was gonna be a tough one tonight. And while it's looking a little bit one-sided at the moment, it's not completely. You know what I'm saying? Usually there's a landslide of everybody picking one particular group. Again, Hobo is not alone here. I'm glad to play devil's advocate, and I'm sure that later on throughout the evening, there'll be plenty of people in the chat room chiming in, feeling probably the same similar way as he does. If not,
absolutely.
Yo, is Philly around? Is Philly?
We're here to talk about these two iconic fucking groups. We're talking, first of all, hip hop groups in general, not very common nowadays in the 2021.
Right.
So it's nice to still talk.
Yeah,
about
you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah. It's a sad thing. I don't know what's happened to let alone duos. Maybe I think one of the more popular groups that's actually kind of maybe proving me wrong in this point is the triple man group. The Migos. But still very far and few when we talk about today's hip hop climate of actual hip hop groups. Right? Let's get right down to round number 1. A lot of ways to approach this, so, work with me. And here we go. When we talk about this infamous Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST battle, one of the first things that crossed my mind was, let's start at the beginning. When we talk about these two groups, who had the best first single off their first debut albums? Tribe Called Quest's Description of a Fool, that was their first single, okay?
Okay.
Or OUTKAST's Players Ball. Looking at a 1989 release for Description of a Fool off their, debut album, People's Instinctive Travels and the Passive Rhythm. Versus OUTKAST's first album, another long-ass name, a little easier for me to remember, but because it's just jumbled up together one word. So technically one word, but Southern Playalistic Cadillac Funky Music. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, there's no funky music. It's Southern Playalistic Cadillac music, right?
Yes.
My bad. So there it goes. Again, a crazy long name for both first debut albums. But we're talking about singles at the moment. We're talking about 1989's, like I said, Description of a Fool, and then we're also talking about OUTKAST Players Ball. Just
Real
to give
quick,
you guys
Jules,
a
not
quick
to
little
stop.
recap.
Was
a little recap on
Left
Description of a
Around
Fool?
El Segundo?
El Segundo was on the first album, but technically, first single.
Really? Okay.
Yo, what's the name of this?
Description of a Fool.
Description of a Fool.
I remember this joint.
I'm on this one, yeah.
No, it's not on this. It's not on the first album.
So Description of a Fool, like I said, was technically their first single off the debut album, which
I don't see it listed.
You don't see it listed. Well, it was actually Peep Game. So it's the first 12-inch they ever released for the album, but didn't make the album. So this technical
okay,
single.
I see what you're saying.
This,
Album de la Soul.
Oh,
okay, yes. So what you have is basically the Description of a Full 12-inch, which was released at in 1989, right? Which was announcing the coming of this album, and then didn't make the album. Now I think on later repackagings of the albums,
it did, yeah.
There's been remixes of Bleeding Apple Bum and other remixes of other songs, and they've happened to throw this on there as well. But technically, in terms of released music, I'm going with this because it was technically, the first. I mean, I learned a lot of things that I didn't know as far as the timeline when it comes to Tribe Called Quest. Like, for example, the fact that this very album features, the Native Tongues was basically put together even before this album had come out. I didn't know that Buddy was out before this.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And Fife's first appearance ever was on Buddy. You know what I'm saying? While Tip's first appearance is on the Jungle Brothers. You know what I'm saying? So again, everything started late 80s, 88, 89. Like I said, we lead into their first single, Description of a Fool. And then do you guys need me to play a little bit of Players Ball, or are you guys, still familiar with that?
Yeah, I thought Tribe was El Segundo because I remember that as their first to me. But
a little trivia nugget. So technically, when Tribe was first coming out, they got a demo deal with Geffen Records. Geffen actually signed Tribe Called Quest before Jive Records ever signed them. And then upon that signing, they gave them the demo deal. They made 5 to 6 tracks, and one of them being El Segundo, being that single. Again, upon them, this is all after Tip's first appearance on the Jungle Brothers' Black is Black and the promo. All right, so that initiated the whole Native Tongue situation. It led to them getting a demo deal with Geffen, 5-song demo. It included I Left My Wallet at El Segundo. Geffen after that decided, I think we're good. I think we're going to part ways, and didn't take them up on the offer to basically put out their album. Jive comes through, and Jive got Boogie Down Productions, got Too Short, that basically, at the time, an indie label, not the powerhouse that later on became
right
for hip hop, and people wanted to be part of that movement, and they wanted to be part of that whole situation. So then you got the signing of Tribe Called Quest to Jive Records, and they decided to release the single Description of a Fool, which is one of those songs. So just a little nugget out there. But again, we're talking about first appearances, first time we're hearing people. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Description of a Fool versus Players Ball. Let's get down to it.
Okay.
One of you Queens guys gonna go?
I was gonna say, let's start with Team Tribe.
I'll jump out.
Let's talk about it.
I'll jump out.
Load my bong while you come up with
Go
your...
right ahead.
yeah, wash your hands. Wash your hands.
Tell me why. Tell
Wash
me
your
why Description of a Fool is better than.
Nah, actually, I'm going to go with OUTKAST on this one.
I think you fucking better.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with OUTKAST. If you're picking those two singles, and if those are the first two singles, then yeah, by far, Players Ball is a way better. Well, let me not say it like that. It's not a way better. I don't think it's necessarily a way better record per se.
You can say that. You could say that.
Per se.
I'll say
However, it. I do remember when Red Alert was playing Description of a Fool on the radio. You know what I mean? So, but I'll say, music wise, production wise, OUTKAST, that song is the better record.
I would have to agree with you on that. Again, we're talking about impactfulness, your first listen, first maybe your first watch. Maybe you saw them first before you heard them.
I would say OUTKAST because that visual was
crazy.
I like.
Yeah.
Ironically, I'm sure you guys know this, but for those watching and don't know, technically a Christmas record.
It is a Christmas song. Yes.
Down to the sleigh bells in the beat. The Santa bells, as we like to call them.
Christmas song.
Actually, no. Yeah, well, they said it's will be for the Christmas album for Arista, but
It was technically featured on a LaFace Christmas album project compilation. They were signed early, even before LaFace was named LaFace. But you know,
this
everybody knew who Babyface
besides
is.
the bells, I don't see nothing Christmas about the song.
No, actually, if you listen to the words,
they talk about Christmas in the song. Actually,
it's beginning to look a lot like wood. Instead of saying it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, they talk about Christmas from a hood perspective.
Follow my every step. Take notes on how I cry.
Damn, Douglas Hauser with the stab already.
What do you say? What do you say? What do you say? Five loses to a Christmas song.
Word, son.
That's foul, but it's factual.
Hey, listen.
What do you have to say there, Breeze?
Yeah,
You know,
my heart does not go pity pat for no rat.
it's still young in the decision making of the show.
You're copping out so early, bro. Relax.
So I'm gonna say Tribe did not win this one.
I was going to hit leave.
I'm gonna go with OUTKAST on this one. I'm gonna go OUTKAST.
Hobo. I have a feeling I know which way you're going, but I have a question.
Now Hobo's voting for Tribe. Let him vote for Tribe.
We'll speak on the man's behalf. Let the man come up with his own decisions. But Hobo, my question to you is: can you remember the first time you heard or saw a Players Ball? Which was? Do you remember which it was? Did you see it? Did you hear it? Because that was a heavy BET record when it started to get momentum.
I saw it on BET. I didn't hear it. I saw it on BET first. And then I immediately checked for it heavy.
My bad.
So obviously I'm choosing Tribe on this one. I'm sorry. OutKast.
No. You said it. You said I heard you. We all heard it.
Be mine, selector. I'm choosing OutKast. That video is crazy. The visuals, the song, the rhymes. It was dope for me. So no disrespect to Tribe, but I am choosing OutKast.
Listen.
When I saw the video, I thought there was Scan in the video. I thought he was a big boy.
I remember the first time I heard a Players Ball was Rock and Soul. That's a record store that still technically exists out here in New York City.
Yeah, Rock Store's open.
We used to go shopping, record store shopping there back in the day. That was one of our go-to record store spots in the city. And I remember just my era of DJing was an era of, and especially where we were from in Queens, there were just too many people coming out with mixtapes and blend tapes, and there was an oversaturation of mixtape DJs in our area.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember the only way I thought I could stand out was by playing music nobody knew about. So I had to go to Rock and Soul, and anybody that ever used to go there used to play you had the turntable in the corner, you grab your records, you're listening, and I remember seeing the artwork, didn't know who they were, never saw the video, I just remember playing it and being like, this shit's hot. I'm gonna fuck with it. And I took it home. Months, maybe weeks, whatever it took, it eventually popped out on BET and all that. Because it never got radio in New York. That song never got any radio in New York.
Nope.
Never.
No.
For all the Drink Champs talk and the Fat Joe Big Show talk of, we love the South. No, we did not. We didn't love the West either. So all this dancing around, trying to act all PC, stop it. We, in hindsight today, thought our shit smelled like roses. We knew if you were in New York hip hop, we didn't fuck with you. We didn't take you serious. And the proof is
Go ahead, Breeze. And I'll add. Go ahead, Breeze.
No, but the proof is in the pudding in the 95 Source Awards when we got OUTKAST winning the Best Group Award in New York, booing them.
I'm gonna slightly disagree with you on that, Jules, because I'm gonna say if you look at Yo MTV Raps, and then you look at Video Music Box, they were playing different people's music from all over. Because I know people in Queens, when NWA's first album dropped with the Straight Outta Compton, before the video, they had the CD in Queens. And I was listening to that joint in Queens. So we were listening.
That particular record had its own little movement on it, just based on the story behind it. But
that's what
let's be clear, Ralph McDaniels was not, he had his times where he was playing, but Ralph was a big supporter of East Coast music. And MTV at the time was a national channel, so they were supporting anything and everything that was.
I would add this. I would say Video Music Box definitely did play a gambit of other videos, because I could say one of the reasons why I know so much about other music is from the music box. But I'll add this. I would say New York changed around 97 when Flex started playing Juvenile.
Yeah. Oh no,
That's
like I said,
that's when it changed.
we eventually. But and it's funny you say that because I wanted to bring that up too. I think the first time we ever, because even Master P, we accepted
it. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like really embrace, it was hot, and it took Jay-Z.
Yeah.
The king of New York at that time to be like, I'm fucking with this. Again, it took Jay-Z to go UGK. New York was very high on its fucking high horse. First to admit it. I was in a record pool. I would get records from E40. I would get records from Too Short. I didn't personally care.
Oh, what about?
I always told you about 3-6 though.
You did. You always told me about 3-6 Mafia. That's how I gotta give it up.
So I can't. So for me, I was listening to. I remember we were playing the Ghetto Boys. They were playing the Ghetto Boys. Cats were listening to the Ghetto Boys.
See, but let's be clear too, Breeze. They only played Mine Is Playing Tricks on Me. That's it. We never heard another Ghetto song, another Ghetto Boy song out here ever again. And if they did,
y'all missed a lot of shit, man. I gotta say,
New York was really, son. We were the only market at a time when Dub C. I mean, excuse me, not Dub C. Who was Ice Cube shit with everybody? West Side Connection. Was running the entire country. I remember I think it was some part of the documentary I saw. Spins in the top 10 for every station across the country. New York, not one fucking spin. We never played West Side Connection Bow Down.
The
record was a fuck you to us, but
I would only add to like in theory New York radio, right? Because in retrospect to Hobo, right? When you go down to DC or Virginia, we always knew the radio was different when we go out there. That's when radio was different. So we knew that like going to DC and Virginia, we'd hear the other shit out there because of the radio out there. As far as New York radio locally, they wouldn't be playing other shit. But the only way, like I said, going back to my point, the reason why I still know as many records as I do is because of Video Music Box playing other shit. Like DJ Quick, Heart, Second to None, all these other groups, Choice MC. I'll say that much.
Even Yo MTV Raps, man, because they were Fab Five Freddy. He was interviewing dudes.
Again, a national TV show. I understand 100%. When it comes to Video Music Box, I gave it up. Ralph would play shit from everywhere, but he was very, very East Coast driven. And then, like I said, when you talk about radio at that time, radio wasn't 24/7.
Right, correct.
When you had your guy, like Flex wasn't playing no fucking West Coast records.
Correct.
Alert wasn't playing no fucking West Coast. It's like they had 2 hours or maybe 4. And it was like, I'm not wasting my time. This is them, not me. Matter of fact, I mean, pretend they were even saying that. They just wouldn't.
This is New York radio at the time.
They would never even play any Dr. Dre records. They never played any MC Ren records. We never even played Bone Thugs unless it was part of rotation, which is a whole different story. But the initiation of fucking hip hop when it was just like, it was strictly mix shows.
Right.
Again.
Right.
It was wrong. I'm not saying this to brag on how we were thinking. We were dumb. Because like what Hobo said, we missed out on so much good shit. When I think of all the funny, slick shit Too Short was saying, and I'm like, damn, it's kind of hot. I missed out on this shit. Like, I missed out. About as West Coast as ever got when I was, listening to Jungle Brothers at that point was probably like the shit underground.
Better late than ever, right?
It's a fact. Check it out, fellas. Round number 2. We both talk about both these guys being legendary, dropping iconic albums. By the way, both groups in for 6 albums each. Just a heads up. Okay, 6 albums each. Production has pretty much been a huge, huge part of for both of these groups. Both these groups have pretty much steered clear of kind of going the path of different producers and kind of sticking it in-house for the majority of their careers. What I ask you fellas in the room real quick, when it comes to production,
Ooh.
who did it best?
Oh man.
The UMMAH versus Organized Noise /
Oh my God.
Again, just I can't tell if it's an ILL or if it's like, the third, like Earth Tone the third, because it's technically 3 members. So let's talk about like each 3 members.
Yeah, go ahead.
Earth Tone, what is it, Hobo?
3.
Earth Tone 3. Let's talk about Earth Tone 3 for a second. So we're talking about after the first album, the legendary Playlistic Cadillac. No, that album. Southern Playlistic Cadillac Music. All production handled by the legendary Organized Noise. Shout out to props. They are fucking legends.
Yeah, Organized Noise. I'll
If
put
you
Dungeon.
ever get a chance to see that documentary, I don't know if it's still on Netflix anymore, but it's fucking amazing. Please.
Yeah.
Okay, so Organized Noise did all the production, and later on got with OUTKAST again because around the second album, OUTKAST decided to take on production themselves,
Right.
including the third member of the group, the official, unofficial member, respectfully, Mr. DJ, their DJ. They formed the production trio, Earth Tone 3. They handle most of the production going forward for most of the rest of these albums coming out until they reunite with Organized Noise down the line again. And then we talk about the UMMAH. The UMMAH consists of obviously 3 legendary producers in their own right. We're talking about Q-Tip, The Abstract, JD, aka J Dilla, aka the Donut Master, and of course Ali Sheen Muhammad, another great producer all in itself, making up the UMMAH. So again, I say that to everybody in the room and in the chat room and in the internet world. Please leave it in the comments. Simple question. The UMMAH versus Organized Noise / Earth Tones 3. Who do you got?
So the question.
Why don't you let Hobo answer that one first?
Why don't you let? I got a feeling I'm you know what? I'm hosting this. Thank you very much, Breeze. I'm gonna leave Hobo last. I'm gonna pick you first. You get to go first. So I do my job. You do it.
What do you mean?
Get your fucking shine box.
The Steinbox. Okay.
Before we get into it, Douglas Hauser asked, "Are we talking only OUTKAST songs or all organized noise songs in general?"
No, Patina.
We're
No.
strictly so I'm glad he brought that up. We're only talking about OUTKAST albums, which are the 6, which would be Southern Playlistic Cadillac Music,
AT Aliens,
AQUEMINI, Stankonia, Speaker Box, The Love Below, which will count as one, as so does Wikipedia, and Idlewild. And then we have,
Just strictly
People to take their travels in passive rhythm. Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, Beats, Rhymes, and Life, The Love Movement, and We Got It From Here. So with 6 and 6, those are the 6 albums we're talking about. If you want to throw in the occasional maybe remix, if for anything based off those albums, we are talking about, but not for anybody else. So we're not talking about any kind of TLC production or anything else, or anything Dungeon Family for that matter. Strictly these 6 albums per group. So hope that answers your question, Doug. I asked the rest of the room. Actually, I asked Breeze first. When it comes to production, the UMMAH versus Organized Noise and Earth Tone. Let's count that as one group. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go with the UMMAH. J Dilla. I mean, you can't. It's the truth, man.
Speak on the albums.
He's calling you out. He's calling you out. He's calling you out. He wants to see if your knowledge is on point. What's today's knowledge, God?
Low End Theory.
Don't bring in and all that shit.
Okay.
These Tribe albums, son. Go ahead.
I mean, but Tip is still involved in that. You know what I'm saying? It's still part of the.
I'm saying, but nah, man. We talk about Tribe albums. We only talk about OUTKAST albums. We only talk about Tribe albums.
All right.
Okay.
Easy, hold on. Easy, hold on. But I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with the UMMAH because if you think about it, Low End Theory was my joint. What else? Beats, Rhymes, and Life. All of those albums were like this. It's just different. Like it has like a jazz, hip hop. It has a mixture of everything in there, man. So it's like, and you can't. Q-Tip, underrated as a producer, I think, and a DJ. And Alicia Muhammad, that dude is. Man, I'm sorry. Organized Noise, they're good, but I'm just gonna have to go with the Tribe on this one, bro.
I hear you. Vote's been noted. Guys, Tribe's on the board. We're talking about the UMMAH versus Organized Noise / Earth Tone 3. Who do you got? Scantastico, as the resident producer in the room. Beat me extraordinaire.
Yeah.
Who tickled your fancy more?
I gotta say the UMMAH, man. Let's just keep it 1,000. Let's not even beat around the bush. But in all defense, organized noise, phenomenal. I would say, just as a sidebar, I'm probably a little bit more influenced by organized noise these days based off of other elements. But I would say, for the argument's sake, The UMMAH, man, because of the production style, I think is more related to like the East Coast style. And when you think of the Jay Dilla influence, that's Detroit, right? You're fusing those two styles together up with the East Coast. Not to mention, Dilla by himself has gone on to be an iconic producer by himself. He has a whole month. He has a holiday. You know what I mean? So I would say overall influence out of the UMMAH went on to be Jay Dilla. But going back to what Bree said, Q-Tip, very underrated and doesn't get the respect, I think, sometimes from a production level, outside stuff, right? But then going back to Tribe, I know Hobo said to stick with the Tribe stuff. The Beach Rhymes of Life album, man, crazy. The Love Movement album, man, is personally one of my favorites, man. And it's crazy because when that album came out, that had a lot of that album got a lot of controversy because it was going away. Love Movement, yeah, because it was kind of going away from the traditional boom bap low end theory album. But people didn't realize though that was early Jay Dilla at the time. The UMMAH also, quiet as kept. If I'm not mistaken, Hobo, you could quote me. I believe, does D'Angelo have a silent part in this as well also?
As far as production?
Yeah.
I think they all tapped each other for different for different types of, but the core consistency of it, is definitely the three. I'm sure it goes the same way for Earth Tone and Organized, bringing in different musicians to help add on.
Because the UMMAH for a while was D'Angelo and Questlove, right? He was
right.
I did not.
That's later on. That's later on.
So that comment
wasn't that Soulquarians? Weren't they the Soulquarians?
Soulquarians, no, right? Soulquarians. That's it.
Yeah,
Soulquarians.
That's completely different. We should definitely do an episode about that though. But completely different setup. It was these core three right here. I think there may have been other people, like I said, that have come through and helped or whatever. Yeah. The core idea of it, I think, was Q-Tip's idea from what I saw in my research, and it was the same concept as the Tribe Called Quest. On any album, it never says produced by Q-Tip. It always says produced by Tribe Called Quest. So his concept for the UMMAH was the same thing with these two guys. It was like anything with the three of us, or even if it's just one of us, we each three get the credit. So you could even attest to like Janet Jackson's the UMMAH
remix.
Well, technically, I mean the original, the way it's labeled is all fucked up. They try to give Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. What's the name of the song again? With the Joni.
Got Till It's Gone.
Is it Got Till It's Gone?
Yeah. On and on seems to go. Yeah.
With the Joni Mitchell sample. That's JD all the way. And they're gonna try to say Jimmy Jam and Terry. And then label the remix, which is almost exactly the same, just mixed differently. And call that one the UMMAH. And it's like, dude, that's JD. Is there two records you can name to me that make you pick a Tribe, the UMMAH as your overall list? Because you said Organized was kind of, your shit too. So what two records are you like because of this and because of that? The UMMAH.
I would say off the Love Movement album, it was a song. It was an interlude called for Moms. And I would say another one that I really like from the UMMAH is if I'm not mistaken, is Once Again. If I'm not mistaken.
Once Again. Ooh, okay. Back to another Queen side of things. Triple C. When it comes to production, and I know you big. Your Jeep got to shake just right. I mean, is the South pumping that bass, or was Queens representing the way you like it? What was your frequencies like?
I'm going with UMMAH. I didn't know nothing about UMMAH until Scan was telling me about it. So I always assumed that it was like Tip doing a lot.
Gotcha.
But from what I heard, that Jay Dilla and Tip was picking out those loops.
Is there a particular loop that again, kind of like the same question that I'm asking?
In the wrong round. I'm not a producer, so I wasn't checking. I just like the sounds, but I don't know who did what.
I'm saying, was there a certain record that you were like, damn, like the fuck, like you know what I mean? Like I said, that makes you think UMMAH again. That makes you go UMMAH for sure.
Can I get back to you about that one?
Fucking chime in, whenever you get a chance.
But my vote is for UMMAH though.
Gotcha. Was on the board.
I mean, you know what you could say, Trip? You could say, breathe and stop, bro. Q-Tip.
Yeah. No, there's something else that was hot.
Okay.
I just don't know offhand. Okay. Unless I scroll through it.
Well, actually, that was a solo album, so don't count. It don't count anyway.
It's a what album is that?
It was a Tip solo album, so don't count.
It was something that you played in the basement production. Something you played in and we was talking about it, but I forgot offhand.
Triple C just said, hey Scan, it was a record you played in your basement and we talked about it.
How many times has that?
Good luck, Triple C. Good luck.
Pick a
2 up,
beat.
2 down. We sliding over to Virginia real quick. Again, I know which direction we're going in, so I'm gonna automatically discount your vote, DJ Hobo. However,
Yeah, hold on though. I just want to say something real.
Uh-oh.
This dude, I almost called him by his government. This dude malcontent talking about.
I read something disrespectful on that. I didn't want to say that.
Talking about Stankonia is highly overrated.
I disagree highly.
Fuck out of here, son.
I read that. I didn't know how to act. I ended up pressuring Triple C to answer questions he wasn't ready for.
You're crazy when you talk like
He didn't say very overrated. He typed in big letters, very overrated.
He said highly. Get the fuck.
Can we just talk? Let's talk about Stankonia just for a second, just because he brought it up. Let's look at what can we talk about the track listing of Stankonia real quick? A 24 track listing song. Singles were featured as So Fresh and So Clean. Fire. I'm almost positive it was a remix for that, if I'm not mistaken.
That's a classic.
There's a remix for that, if I'm not mistaken. Miss Jackson. I'm sorry.
Classic.
Fire.
You got B.O.B. Bombs Over Baghdad. That shit was just like, again, when we talk about production. This song needs to be mentioned when we talk about production, since we're talking about the UMMAH versus Earth Tone 3. This almost let the hip hop world know, like, y'all can fuck with drum and bass, right? Like, it's cool. Like you could fuck with these heavier type, drum and bass kind of drums. Because that shit was just so. The video, everything was just insane. Okay, those 3 alone were the singles. You got other singles featuring Be Real of Cypress Hill, Big Gip of Goody Mob, Erykah Badu, the Yoko Ono of the group. Slim Calhoun, you know what I'm saying? Of course, the Dungeon Family. Again, so you know what? I don't remember this album from beginning to end. I will have to listen to it again. But singles-wise, it makes me disagree with the comment, but I respect it because I'm assuming, unlike myself, he listened to the whole thing.
Disrespectful.
Under much duress, apparently. Under much duress. But apparently...
In the group, read my full statement at Hobo.
Okay, Hobo, read that back there, Hobo.
Okay, bro.
Stankonia is very overrated as an album. The hits from it aren't overrated.
It's not
just the album as well. So basically, yeah, what I said, like the singles alone made me go, I don't know, but I do need to readdress.
Album. What does overrated mean? Since you're saying it's not overrated as an album, do you mean it's just okay? Or are you just saying like it's got some good? It's got those 3 or 4 good songs, and the rest is just eh. Clear yourself up, son.
Oh,
don't overrate when you trying to hate. Bombs over Baghdad.
I mean, this album was it was critically received, as we all know.
I mean, that album was dope. Yo, I'm not gonna let you slide, bro.
Oh wow.
Nah.
I mean, it chimed in on the top 200. Its peak was only 104. But that's the top 200. That's like everything that from your diamonds or whatever.
Yeah.
And then on the R&B hip hop albums chart, it debuted. I mean, they debuted, but it peaked at number 51.
Okay.
So it also is an official 4 times platinum certified. Okay. Unlike A Tribe Called Quest, unfortunately, OUTKAST is a 6-time Grammy Award-winning group.
They are.
6. I don't know if anything on Stankonia was part of that, legacy, but it doesn't look like it was. However, shout out to who was it? Malcontent who said that?
Malcontent, yeah.
Shout out to Malcontent because you're making me have to go back and
no doubt.
I gotta study this particular. I only really went through the first 3. It's hard to go through all 6 because you think you know them so well. But when we're talking about these kind of questions, you're right. I mean, I might need to readdress that. But I'm on Hobo's side. You foul, son.
and Douglas House, I'm not gonna let you slide either. He's talking about,
whoa.
You can't listen to the album all the way through.
Hobo, but I'm saying, Hobo, it's safe to assume the way you're taking your stance on Stankonia, even though we're talking about production of all the albums, you were going with Earth Tone and Organized Noise, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. And same question that I posed to Scan and Triple C is, can you name me 2 particular, albums, songs that are produced by either one of them crews that you.
I don't know. Who did Bugging Out?
Probably Tip, but he's still UMMAH. I mean, he's 1/3 of the UMMAH.
I like Bugging Out.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, I can give you like 4 or 5, but I'll go with.
Want to go right ahead?
I'll go with Jazzy Bell.
Didn't see that one coming. Okay.
And Spodioti Dope.
Spodioti. Okay.
I fucking love that record.
Okay.
I'm gonna
The
go.
record is so slept on. That's not Stankonia. That's on
AQUEMINI, right?
I keep saying AQUEMINI. AQUEMINI, yes. AQUEMINI. Yes, AQUEMINI.
And I'm gonna throw Crumbling Urban in just cause.
Okay. Again, leave it in the comments. You know, let us know what your favorite, UMMAH and or Organized Noise / Earth Tone 3 records are. Like I said, let's talk about it. Let's readdress them. Let us know. Put us on. You know what I'm saying? Maybe, like I said, I don't know the hottest one. I want to know. I'm a DJ. I need to have it on my set ready to go.
Ripping in the comments today.
That's what we want. That's what we want.
Joint was when they sampled one of the ones I remember when they sampled Busta Rhymes' voice. Oh my God! Yes.
Oh my God! I love that.
Oh
record.
my God! Yeah.
The bounce on that record, the swing on that record is just so like
with the jazz horns in it.
Oh, it's fucking amazing. The video is even fire. The kids running in the background, like everything about that fucking song, the video, everything is amazing. Shout out to you for that one. That was a dope memory right there. Boom. So, well, technically it's even right now. Again, we're only on round number 2. Moving on to round number 3, but after round number 2, it looks like both groups are on the board. Round number 1 went to OUTKAST, while round number 2 is going to A Tribe Called Quest. Moving on to round number 3, who do you got? When we're talking about A Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST, both crews stand alone and are fucking dope as shit. However, both crews also form Voltron with a bunch of other groups and collectively make their crews. You know what we're talking about. When it comes down to Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST, which crew did it better or does it best for you? Native Tongues or the Dungeon Family?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Again, I'm limiting it to the involvement of all these 6 albums per. So, if you want to, sort of personally think, Slim Calhoun is your man. He's nothing to do with that single for this particular album. Battle. However, he is featured on Stankonia. But just saying, we're sticking to the 6 albums. But again, let's talk about the respective crews that make up the Voltron. Let's start with A Tribe Called Quest and Native Tongues. We're talking respectively about, and again, it's been, there's people that add themselves on and or the people that add other people on, but predominantly it's known as what? And I think we can all agree here. We're talking about A Tribe Called Quest. We're talking about the Jungle Brothers. Soul. And then we want to move on to what I always considered official members as well, because of the Buddy video and remix, Queen Latifah and Moni Love. Honorary mentions that have come up in the past also been Drez, Black Sheep.
Black Sheep, right?
We've also heard the Beatnuts. And we've heard Chiali.
And we've heard Common also.
I've never heard Common as part of Native Tongue.
Also, you forgot Busta Rhymes as well too.
Leaders of the New School, period. We're part of that situation as well.
But then remember, Busta Rhymes is now in A Tribe Called Quest.
He's not in A Tribe Called Quest.
Yes, yeah. They labeled him as a part of Tribe Called Quest because he was supposed to leave Leaders of the New School years back. But that's why he's so heavily.
He's an honorary member.
No, yeah, he's an honorary. Yeah,
he's not honorary. He's not. Believe me, they had a fucking titty fit when Consequence joined the group, and fucking JD also. Again, you find all this amongst the research. Like I said, we were going to talk about it too much, but there was always a rift between Fife and Tip. At
Philly says in the chat room, boom, yes, he is an official member. Official member.
He's not an official. Okay. He's a feature on the last Tribe Called Quest album. It's the last album.
They said they announced it on this last album.
I guess we
seem
gotta
to
wait.
remember something like that.
I think I would remember something like that too.
I think I do. I think I remember it.
Oh, you think you remember it?
I do.
I remember him being an unofficial member. I always remember something like that. And him always wanted to leave Leaders in the New School as well. Again, Busta was a solo star in the making. He was the Justin Timberlake.
He's the big Noid of that. He's the big Noid of the.
That's that. Ooh, I don't like that. I'm like, no, he's definitely not that either.
That's disrespectful.
That's a little.
I don't know about that one.
I want to give him more than that. Again, because they say. I asked the room this: Is Consequence a member of Tribe Called Quest?
Yeah, he's been a member.
I remember that. I don't remember that Busta conversation of like he's an official member. Again, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize.
So, are we talking about in the Native Tongues in the context of the albums?
Yes. So yeah, back to the original question. Native Tongues again consisted of those guys. So now we're also going to talk about the Dungeon Family. Dungeon Family consists obviously of OUTKAST, Organized Noise, and at the time Goody Mob.
Goody Mob, right?
I don't, again, in the context of the album, you already have Slim Calhoun involved as well, technically. And I don't think there was any other members.
What about Killer Mike?
Yes. Well, you know what's weird is because
Killer Mike was Dungeon Family, and he was on.
That's when Big Boy started his own thing. He started the it was something purple.
Purple Label.
Purple Label, yeah. Was that it? Purple Label?
Is it Purple Haze or something?
It was Purple something. I can't remember.
He definitely had his own thing for a while. His first artist that he signed was Killer Mike. I think Killer Mike, respectfully, is not a part of the Dungeon Family. As like Redman is not a part of Wu-Tang, but kind of is.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
That's probably fair.
Okay.
To that degree, or maybe make
They all duns.
They're all done. So again, so we're talking about crews again. So you know, when Tribe comes out, you know, and for some, again, keep in mind, Tribe was not the first member of Native Tongues to come out. But for those that were probably, you know, first time Tribe listeners and not knowing about the rest of the groups, they're learning about De La, they're learning about, you know, Jungle Brothers, they're learning about everybody else we mentioned. And if you're listening to OUTKAST this time, you're learning about Goody Mob, especially on the first album. And you learn about CeeLo as a solo artist eventually, and everybody else, and the legacy that Dungeon Family brings on. So, Dungeon Family, Native Tongues, who do you got?
I'm just going with Native because that's what I grew up listening, like knowing. So, I'm just going with Native on the strength of that's what.
On the strength of your GPS location, gotcha.
Yeah.
Growing up in the borough of Queens.
Hobo, you're gonna go with Tribe on this one, right?
Hobo's gonna cry after you get out.
Actually, on this one, I am gonna go with Tribe.
Oh,
okay. It's all right.
It looked like it pained you to say that, Hobo.
Definitely. I mean, but I would, you know, I can objectively say that Native,
of course.
Native Tongues as a crew is definitely stronger than the Dungeon Family.
All right.
Because especially with Jules saying that Killer Mike is not really part of Dungeon Family.
He's from the tree. He's from the tree.
But if you
right.
It's almost like Votto not being diplomat, but he was signed to Cam. You know what I'm saying? And but Cam didn't.
If you take him away, I mean, you have Goody Mob,
right?
And then of course by addition of Goody Mob, you have CeeLo, who is a superstar.
Right.
I would say probably a bigger superstar than anyone say Busta in
I think it's safe to say that too. I mean, huge international kind of.
Yeah. Other than that, Native Tongue has that one pretty securely in the
Yeah. I agree.
Gotcha. Shan, what are you thinking? I mean, I think.
No, I actually agree with Hobo. I think Native Tongues have more of the star power in this particular sense because we don't. Although we know Cujo, we know Big Gip, we know the other members, but
respectfully, so I just got some information on who the actual members, according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
Like official members of the Dungeon Family are Andre 3000, Big Boy, Goody Mob, including CeeLo Green, Witch Doctor, forgot about him, Organized Noise, as we mentioned, including Sleepy Brown,
Right.
Cool Breeze, not you,
Not this one.
not this.
Watch for the hooks.
Watch for the Hook, which was a banger.
That was a banger. Watch for the hooks.
Banger.
Yeah, it was.
What did the sample used to say though? Money man. But what did that say though?
Brother man.
Brother man. Okay.
Oh.
Brother man. Killer Mike. It lists Killer Mike.
Mhm.
It lists Killer. Hobo, you want to change your name? It lists. I'm gonna go with Wikipedia, even though we know we shouldn't take Wikipedia for its face value most of the time. But Killer Mike and Big Rube apparently. Never heard of Big Rube.
Never heard of Big Rube.
And Backbone apparently.
Big Rube is like a poet. He
Did he do one of the intros?
Yes.
I think yes. I know who you're talking about. Okay.
And he was also in Society of Soul, which was an album with Rico Wade, obviously one of the Dungeon Family.
Is it like a spoken word kind of?
No, it's an R&B album. I invite all of you to check it out. It's very dope.
Rico Wade is the shit.
Society of Soul. It's a
One of the
You said, what is it again?
Society of Soul.
Oh, that's a dope name.
It's a very dope album. Super dope album.
It's a concept project. Like it's not a band. It was like a one-time thing.
No, I think it was I think they pitched it as a band, like it was a band, but they only put out one album that I know of. Very dope though, very, very dope. But no, I'm not gonna change my answer.
I mean, Breeze, we come back to you again. I remind you, Breeze, Cool Breeze. I remind you that there's a member of the Dungeon family who goes by the name Cool Breeze, tall, skinny fellow, probably something like where you look. Is there something you want to tell us?
That you, Breeze.
It's not both of us.
Brother man,
It's only one, man.
brother man.
Watch for the hooks.
I'm the cool breeze from Queens. You know? I live in LA, so two different ones. But I'm gonna have to go with Tribe again on this one because I grew up listening to a lot of the Jungle Brothers stuff, and everybody who was in under that native tongue, like Queen Latifah, she was dropping hits. Moni Love was dropping hits.
It was a dope movement. It
was pretty dope, man, because they had like the rap game sold up from like, for like years. And then outside of that, Queen Latifah branched out and had her own crew, which was like Naughty by Nature and a slew of others under them. So it's like, it's native tongues, man. And I mean, and this argument like Dungeon Family, Tribe, I love the Dungeon family as well too. They super dope, but I'm like, they came in the era after like Tribe and all of these other artists were still doing their thing. They came along the way, so it's like they, would say native.
I'm sure they probably would have said the same thing that they would have went with native tongue.
Oh,
okay.
Wow, that's presumptuous.
Very presumptuous. Very presumptuous.
No, because CeeLo, he gives props to all the past.
I mean, again, Tribe did come out before, so it's easy to understand. So it's safe to say this round number 3, obviously, by the way this completely tipped the scale, is going completely to a Tribe Called Quest. So Tribe Called Quest on the board once again. Round number 3 goes to a Tribe Called Quest when it comes down to Native Tongues versus the Dungeon family. We've all voted, well, you guys all voted one side. Anybody in the chat room feel differently there, Hobo, or is it kind of safe to say that?
Nah, everybody seems to have sided with Tribe on this one.
I think, okay, fair enough. Moving on to round number 4, again, Eats, Beats, and Rhymes is the channel. Who do you got the show? Tonight we're talking about legendary groups, A Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST. We do this live every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you check us out, tune in. Everybody in the chat room, shout out to y'all. By the way, everybody in the chat room, if anybody wants to jump in, let us know. We put you on camera. Make sure you camera ready.
The Douglas Hauser brings up a good point.
Say,
he says, other than Dave, who else from Native Tongues was on the Tribe album?
Other than
Dave from De La Soul. Who else was on the Tribe album?
You know what's crazy? I heard about that De La Soul thing. How is De La never on a fucking Tribe album?
I think he has a really good point.
But hold on, I'm gonna say another thing too. Was Mos Def down with them too at some point with the Native Tongues?
I mean, loosely affiliated.
Probably loosely affiliated.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't even know where that affiliation came from. Like.
But I'm going to I'm going to
Him and Kweli, I think.
I'm going to argue for a second because we need to clarify based on what Douglas Hauser said in the chat. Who else from Native Tongues was on the Tribe album to be able to include them in this question?
Oh, the technicality.
Answer the question, damn it.
Okay.
Fair enough. Who's that? Who's that? Dewey Hauser?
Yes.
Hold on. 1 second.
Doctor.
Philly.
Check it out.
Strictly De La or Native Tongues?
No, who else from Native Tongues was on a Tribe album? Justin Anthony says Scenario.
Buster definitely was.
Scenario, which had
Scenario, right?
And Leaders of the New School, exactly. There you go. And Buster was featured later on other records.
Yeah, so Buster and LONS. Who else?
What was Buddy
Consequence? If you use Consequence,
I mean, yeah, but he's a part of Tribe though. We just covered that.
That's isn't that that's Q-Tip's cousin, isn't it?
yeah.
He went to school with us, by the way. I don't know.
Yeah, he went to high school with us. Yeah.
Go ahead, keep on.
What was Buddy on?
De La's
De La
album.
Soul.
But that don't count.
It does count because again, Dave is on a war tour.
Whoa. You said
right
in context of these 6 albums. That's what you said.
So War Tour is one of the 6 albums.
Buddy, Trip asked about.
I didn't say Buddy.
Trip said Buddy. Trip said Buddy. I said Buddy's on the
Buddy doesn't count for sure.
Right. So Dave and LONS. Who else?
Busta as a solo artist.
What song?
It's called the Love Movement. Hold on a minute.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have.
Thank you, Douglas Hauser, because I'm about to change my answer.
That round pass, it carried. That round pass already.
The total's been scored, baby.
Pass already, man.
The total's been scored, baby. You don't get to be a boxer and say, "Hold on, you punched me under the belt," and someone calls the 3rd round punch under the belt, but you on round 5. Nah, baby. I still run the show here, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Change my answer, son.
Listen, the question is, were there any members of Native Tongues involved in any Tribe Called Quest albums? I just gave you 3, so yes, there's the answer.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay.
I mean, the answer is yes. There are.
The answer is yes.
But we still got to find out if Mos Def was down with him, because I know he was running behind the Tribe before they got really put on, before like Lyricist Lounge and all of that, because that's when.
I think he was friends with them. I mean, because you could say he was part of the Bush Babies of that too, because he did like a bunch of stuff with the Bush Babies. So I think he was just like you said, trying to get his grind. He got his own push when his solo stuff was coming up through Raucous, and he was an actor. He was doing a bunch of shit. So that's most def. Yassine Bey, respectfully.
I can't change my answer for you, Drew. I'm changing my answer in the chat room. Damn it.
Listen, again, you before I read out the official answer for the round, the total that y'all came up with, it's already in the books. It's literally in the books, baby. You know what I'm saying? It's in the books.
Fair.
Malcontent, you're right. He was on those 2 De La records.
De La records?
But we not
De La records.
Okay.
You seem a little frustrated there tonight, Hobo, right?
Yeah, we gotta move on before Hobo busts.
I came to this prepared to argue because I knew I was going to be the only one, including everybody in the damn chat room. So I came to argue and argue well.
And Hobo, let me just give you props, by the way. You're holding your own. And I hope I'm playing devil's advocate enough to, to sort of.
Yeah, he might not get this now for let him calm down now, boy.
Oh boy. Oh boy. So fellas, moving on to round number 4. When we're talking about a Tribe Called Quest versus OutKAST. Again, who do you got, right? I decided to ask a question that usually gets asked around here when it comes to these kind of, setups. But I wanted to change things up a little bit, just a smidge. So fellas, when we talk about a Tribe Called Quest versus OutKAST, there's a long list of albums that we've been talking about all night. I want to take 2 of those albums and have them go head for head. Pause. And I'm not even gonna pick the albums that you think I'm gonna pick.
Okay.
Okay.
When it comes to Tropical Quest versus OUTKAST, who had the best third album?
Uh-oh.
Midnight Marauders
Oh,
versus AQUEMINI.
oh my God.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
shit.
let's
Yeah.
just
Oh boy.
let's just again just real quickly. Let's just let's talk
Hold
about
on. Go ahead. I'm listening. Hold on.
let's talk about Midnight Marauders. All right.
Yes. Okay.
Does anybody want to start? Because I feel like I don't need to say shit. Does anybody just want to give their finest moments or their highest highlighted moments of Midnight Marauders, and then we can go on to
Against what?
against AQUEMINI. I was about to say see, I did say it wrong.
Aquemini.
I keep saying AQUEMINI, which we're gonna cover it right now too. I'm getting my notes together, so I'll tell you all about AQUEMINI in a second. But does anybody want to go first? Does anybody want? And I'm go first when we're talking about Midnight Marauders. Let's talk about Midnight Marauders first.
I mean,
Yeah, Midnight.
Midnight Marauders was an incredibly dope album. I will say that for me personally, it did get overshadowed a little bit by the 36 Chambers.
Oh, wow.
battle that we had here.
Stab. Hold it.
I caught
Stab
that.
on the play.
I caught that.
Stab on the play.
You're talking about a previous Who Do You Got battle that will be showing up soon.
Stab on the play.
Uh-huh.
But you gotta go. Oh my God! Yes. Oh my God!
Today, damn it.
Your marketing skills, hobo. Your marketing skills. That was a nice alley-oop. Thank you. That was good.
Yeah, but Midnight against the OutKast album, I think Midnight wins on this one.
Okay, well, Triple C, I'm glad you gave your answer, and thank you. We're not ready. I wasn't collecting answers yet, but I will give you a second chance, only because I want to go over some notes about each particular album. For example, I know you probably, Triple C, I know you pretty well. I'm pretty sure you don't have that much information on AQUEMINI. Am I safe to assume that?
I'm trying to look at the track listings against track listing for Midnight Marauders.
That's
And
fantastic.
Midnight Marauders have a lot of gems.
I mean, yo, to be honest, we played AQUEMINI when we were at school, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're familiar then. So I was gonna say because I know
familiar,
you can read each track listing, but like, are you listening? Is the question. I know
Listen,
you know.
I would listen
we
to
all know
Midnight.
Midnight Marauders inside out, but
Midnight
we're talking about
you got a war tour. You got Sucker Nigga. You got a whole bunch of classics.
Oh my God!
Again, you really are standing your ground, and I respect it 100%.
Joint.
But we're also talking about this album has classics, just singles. I'm not even talking about the rest of the album cuts. You're talking about Rosa Parks. The first like breakout kind of song where it was like, what's going on over here? And the sound was changing at this time.
Yeah.
Personal favorite of mine was more of a B-side, but they released as an A-side, a couple of times as far as like, DJ copies. Skewed on the Barbie fucking with Raekwon.
Raekwon, yeah.
That shit was the first time, not the first time that the East got with the South, obviously, but that was their first time, I think, getting together with the East Coast.
I believe so.
With the Woo. Hobo's group.
It's Raekwon. It's fucking Raekwon. It was a perfect matchup. It's a good A&R move. It makes
that was good.
True, but still,
you know what I'm saying?
Doesn't still hold to my Midnight Marauders.
And that's fine. Again, stand on your milk crate. Don't go up the milk crate. Just stand on your milk crate and hold your ground. I understand that.
Lyrics to go.
Lyrics to go is don't even get me started. I got the Siemens couch. So you got the Spotty Odie Spotty Odie. I can't even say it. Spotty Odie Dopalicious. I got people hit me on the phone telling me, AQUEMINI, no question, easily. Again, I think it's all about listening back in hindsight, as well as remembering those moments of when you first heard them growing up, right?
That's fair.
I tend to go gut feeling off of a first listen, because radio and the industry has at a point of, if they bang it enough times, eventually, this shit ain't that bad. And that's not a good look. I still go, okay, as much as I like it now, my first instinct was I wasn't that crazy about it. So again, your first instinct growing up is probably not really, maybe, again, us East Coast guys, not Hobo in the room, more of a Tribe Called Quest leaning situation versus, and AQUEMINI. However, what I'm also starting to learn by doing a lot of research for this show is that I think a lot of and I'm talking to all the East Coast guys in the room, and Hobo, you fall into this too, technically. You're an East Coast guy as well. East Coast Southern guy. Whatever that means. But I think
East South.
But this was, I guess I'm gonna just say this more for the New York guys in the room. I think a lot of our favorite classics were only classics to us, and not the rest of them.
I think that's fair, but I mean, depending on what you were saying your classics are.
Right, no, absolutely.
I think
And I think, because like I said, some of the feedback I'm getting is like, you know, people like are telling me OUTKAST over this trap thing. And
well, let me chime in right here, and I'm gonna chime in based off of what Philly's saying, because I kind of agree, and I mentioned all the time.
What is Philly saying, by the way?
Philly basically says these two crews are totally regional because this really comes down to preference. As much as I love the OUTKAST joint, everything being equal, I always go to New York East Coast hip hop, and I agree with them because you have to remember at this time in hip hop, everything was about the region in hip hop. Where if you look at hip hop now, everything sounds the same,
Right.
but hip hop back then, New York was New York, West Coast is West Coast. OUTKAST in the South was starting to come up, and then even separate from OUTKAST, you have Miami bass, which is still the South, but it was totally separate.
Totally
So it was really about where you were from at the time in hip hop, because that's gonna lend to whatever you like. Because if you're from Miami, you fucking with that bass, you fucking with DJ Laz, and you fucking with all of that. You know what I mean? So
if you're from the Bay, you got a whole different sound you fucking with. And if you're
exactly,
from Cali, you got that
So
P-Funk.
So I agree 100%, and I say it all the time. Like it's kind of what you had access to, right? So things like radio. At this time, I think BET was on the come up, which is an important factor at this point. So whatever you had access to at the time was going to begin to shape your palate a little bit more, depending upon what coast you were from. So it's the reason why, like, because we were just saying around this time when AQUEMINI came out, we were in school upstate. You know what I mean? So this was coming up. BET was getting shine. A lot more things was starting to come out, you know, in the region. So our classics being from New York, which we're Queens tribe people, so we're always gonna have that bias, so to speak. But I could say 100%, we were playing AQUEMINI when the shit came out.
Hard body.
You know what I'm saying?
Or some standout tracks. Let's talk about it. Like I said, because I'm not counting the votes yet. I know which way the votes are leaning, obviously, which way we think, but let's talk about it. You guys have personal experience listening to these albums in college, which means you were in a room at a college age, you're at a certain zone, especially hip hop. You're drinking, you're smoking, you're listening to that shit with your fellas. Like, so, like, what went on?
Spodioti, skewed on the John Raekwon, skewed on the Barbie. Those to me, those are the two of my favorite. But there was another one I'm
the storyteller of Slick Rick.
That was fire.
That was fire.
Yes. Yeah, that was
fire.
I'm about to bring that up.
And that was a single and with a video.
Yeah, it was a part 1 and a part 2.
Yeah.
So obviously I wasn't in college. I was just gonna say you Scan, when you were talking about, you know, it being regional, I think that's one of the things that, you know, not growing up in New York and being in New York, that from a hip hop perspective, I think that growing up where I grew up, I was exposed to like everything. So I got to see the South. I got to hear Ghetto Boys we were talking about earlier. I got to, you know, Scarface, like the first Scarface song, Mr. Scarface, is still my most favorite songs ever. And, you know, West Coast. So for me to hear and see OUTKAST come out and have something to say, and what 3 Stacks said at the Source Awards, it was crazy for me, man. It was just
I'll add to Hobo real quick. Let me add to Hobo real quick. I would say it makes sense because earlier I'm the last in the order of my family. So like I said, my sister went to college in Virginia, and my brother, when he came to this country, grew up in North Carolina. Right. So because of traveling, I was able. That's how I know when you go to DC, when you go to Virginia, now the radio different. And like when we be in that area, they'd be playing, of course, you know, go and the different styles within every. So that's how I kind of got a little bit more exposed to shit. In addition, so that's why sometimes like I'll always have my Queens bias, but I'm also still open to the music because I know those records based off of my older siblings.
Yeah, and I'm gonna add something to what both you guys are saying. Even because you were like in the DMV area, Virginia, though, and it's not even that far away from New York, but it's just a totally different sound. It's just like you go 3 hours, 4 hours,
right?
South, and it's like something totally different. And you know, And if you go to like Ohio, they're probably listening to something far different from what they listen to. They're probably listening to more West Coast.
More West Coast shit.
So it's like, it's just crazy when you really sit down and think about it like that. And these places are not even that far from New York, driving off. So it's like, it's just a different region. You know? So
yeah, especially like if you in that Rust Belt of like Buffalo, Pittsburgh, like that area, it was weird to me when I first understood, but there's still like a lot of West Coast out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just to add on to everything that we're talking about, though. I mean, again, we're talking about a national perspective, right? When it comes down to those, those two particular albums, who do you think was getting more radio play around the country?
Oh, around the country, definitely OUTKAST.
Definitely OUTKAST. Definitely OUTKAST.
This is why I stressed the whole portion about
definitely
us
OUTKAST.
being so heavy leaning ATCQ, but you got dudes like Hobo, people chiming in on my phone, people in the chat room, I don't know how they're feeling, but OUTKAST is not that obvious to them like a Tribe for them as it is to easily say, "You crazy? This is fucking OUTKAST. Like, are you out of your mind?" So it's also different eras, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about
95 versus 99.
There you go. So we're looking at what a 4-year gap.
Yeah.
It's a whole
and a big gap musically.
Yes.
Musically for sure.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
For sure. So it's interesting. So okay. So we talked about that. We basically laid out a lot of the important parts about both these albums. I put it out to the room again.
So you can't really judge.
Well, we have to, but kind of have to. That's the point of the show. But I put this to you real quick. Do you want to hear anything in particular, like maybe the art of storytelling?
I like Return of the G.
Return of the what now?
Return of the G.
Return of the B. I don't got that. Anybody got that on deck? Either way.
That shit's hard.
That's hard.
It is
so
hard.
Listen, so keep that in mind when I ask the question. Midnight Marauders versus AQUEMINI. I almost said that wrong again. AQUEMINI. And not based, we're trying not to look at it too much from like an era-based situation because of the 4-year age gap. But we're talking about it more from like a third album perspective. They both debuted heavy, right? They both came out fucking just killing it. All right. For example, Tribe's first album is the first album ever to get 5 mics in the source. The source we talk about now with a bit of sort of like but let's be clear. The source at the time when it was what it was the Bible of this shit.
True. Yeah. True.
They said something, then it was what it was. Straight up and down.
True.
Just like I said, just to give you an idea of the level of experience that both these guys have come with on their first albums. The first album for these guys, OUTKAST, it's a legendary album. They both just proceed to go on dropping classic after classic after classic. But you had the sophomore jinx. They both conquered that. And then you have your third album, which a lot of us in the industry look at as like, well, what the fuck now? What do you do in your third album? And most of the time you expect the change up. And if it happens occasionally on the second album, it's a real gamble because everybody kind of knows what they want from you on the second album because they got it on their first. On the third, you can run the risk of like it's the same shit from the first and second album.
True.
You have Tribe who kind of does what on Midnight Marauders, sort of stays true to their sound, but just do we want to say establish it more, sort of like nail the nail in the coffin, going like this is our fucking sound, we're not changing up.
And they mastered it with Midnight Marauders. Is that what you're saying?
Right, because that's what I kind of feel. I feel like it's their sound. And then you have AQUEMINI, which is they were already even from AT Aliens starting to change their sound up.
I would agree with that. That
and with Bombs Over Baghdad and Rosa Parks alone.
I would agree.
Hip hop wise, I never heard no shit like that. It was like, what the fuck are they doing? And it was like, it's dope too. Like,
I would agree that
even with Andre looking crazy at this point, this is when he started to look crazy.
Tribe definitely mastered their sound with Midnight Marauders.
They kept their sound, I feel like.
But I will say as well, and doing my research as well, AQUEMINI also got 5 mics.
Yeah, I was gonna get my man. Yes, it sure did. It sure fucking did.
Mics.
Yes, sir.
It did.
I mean, granted, the argument could maybe be made that the source was getting a little watered down at that point. Maybe, I don't know.
I wouldn't say that. Not in 90.
I wouldn't say that either. I would say it's two different. It's almost two different eras at this point, because even
AQUEMINI, I'm still reading the source in 99. It's 99.
No. But it's kind of like 95 versus 99 to me. Respectfully, even though it's 4 years, it's kind of a big discrepancy at this point, because even touching on it, I remember jungle music being big like around 97, 98, 99. And even how that kind of contributed to certain things. You know what I mean? So at this time, in my opinion, you're coming out of the strictly boom bap era, going into jungle, live musicians. Now you're kind of, it's changing once again. Like I always say in the past shows, like it's changing once again. And this is the shift at the time.
Right. Malcontent brings up a good point in the chat room. He said Midnight Marauders didn't get 5 mics initially.
Well, Midnight Marauders didn't get 5 mics at all. I was talking initially about the first album.
Oh yeah, People's Instinctive Travels did.
It's the first album period to get 5 mics in the source. They hadn't even given it out at that point yet. Another little trivia nugget just for you guys out there. When they dropped Low End Theory, 5 mics as well. So I don't know how many groups or bands or artists out there have more than one. Again, doesn't really mean that these days, but in that era.
Right. That was a big deal back then.
Big deal. It was the Rolling Stone of
that was a big deal.
And if you got you wanted a 4, you were super duper grateful for a 4.5.
If you got 5,
nobody got 5. So it was like 4.5 was the 5 until someone Tribe, your OUTKAST, your NOIZEs of the world eventually pull the 5 card mic and make that happen. But listen, we got to start wrapping things up eventually. Let's keep it moving here. We have examined the sounds of both of these albums and their eras. I respectfully get back to the question, and I'm gonna go by each individual person here because we got to get to the next very last question. DJ Hobo, where do you stand? Midnight Marauders versus AQUEMINI.
AQUEMINI, please see my previous answer.
There you go, DJ Hobo. Stating what he stated. Scantastico, where do you stand?
Tribe
is in the books. Triple C, how's it looking?
Yeah, I'm still sticking to I said it first.
I just wanted to give you a chance to give your answer the correct time that it needed, and I didn't want to see you try to pull a card like Hobo did earlier. Trying to retract. Trying to retract around here. But we don't retract no statements around here. We don't print a rebuttal in the next issue. All right.
Yeah, mark that Delaney card. Mark that Delaney card.
Cool breeze. When it comes down. You're an important voter. I just want you to understand that. Okay? When it comes down to Midnight Marauders versus AQUEMINI, who do you got?
Just off that cover alone, man. The iconic Queen's cover.
You're talking about the album cover, yes. Album cover is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
I could have sworn you was gonna go with OUTKAST.
That's what he just texted me and said OUTKAST, but he wants us.
And so you gonna jump ship, Breeze? That was going on. I'm
gonna go with. You funny, old boy. I'm gonna go with Midnight Marauders. Even though, but to be honest, close neck and neck, bro. Because that
absolutely.
That AQUEMINI album, we were bumping that shit.
We were bumping that shit.
Yeah. And that joint was fire too. But it's like slight margin, bro.
It's a slight margin. I believe you. I mean, again, it's a hard battle to begin with. That's why we choose.
Yeah.
But again, we do this every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out. Eats, Beats, and Rhymes is the name of the channel. Who Do You Got is the name of the show. Tonight we're talking about A Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST. We're up to round number 5, the final round. Fellas, I got a few minutes to get this question out. And it's a very deep one. It's more of a philosophical kind of question. When it comes to A Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST, whose breakup had the most impact on their careers?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Wow.
Oh, wait.
So in a bad way or a good way, or just in general?
That's up to you. Heads or tails, that's up to you.
Because if you think about it,
Up to you. Speak on it, God. It's up to you though. If you want to talk about the positive, you could. You want to talk about the negative, you could. Go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. OUTKAST really didn't have a breakup. I think it was more of their label was kind of like,
up, bro. They're not together. They haven't dropped an album since Idlewild.
but I don't think it was them, man. I think it's the label dispute that they had. That both.
I'm not here to talk about the
really
technicality of it. I'm here to just talk about they not making music together no more.
Yeah, and Andre 3000 is like, I'm out.
He niggas playing the flute, my bro. I don't know if you see what he looks like.
Right.
He ain't making no music no time soon. Except for the Donda shit that came out, but that was also not supposed to come out.
He's made some stuff like here and there, but
Here and there.
Yeah, he's good for a verse, for a guest verse of like, you know, Jay Electronica stature.
Yeah,
Like,
Jay Electronica.
And what I'm
there's been an OutKast sighting.
and I'm gonna say,
OutKast broke up. I don't care what nobody said. They broke up. They broke up.
And I'm gonna say Andre 3000 is a very dope, underrated lyricist. A lot of people
come on,
don't that smoke with that dude, man. That dude is really nice.
That goes without saying, for sure, for sure. I mean, even Eminem has cited Andre 3000 as one of his ultimate, like, top 5.
Yep.
Again, to get it, it's like a Jay Electronica sighting, and I don't know who that bigs up more, but it's big footage. It's like, there's another Andre 3000 verse.
I mean, that question is kind of fluky, man. I'm sorry, Jules. I mean, because it's like, I mean, because Q-Tip went on to do his thing. He had, I don't know if his albums went gold or whatever. Did his albums go gold?
I don't know. I didn't check out the status of his solo shit. But you are talking about the Amplified album.
I'm gonna look it up, but I think the one with
is a dope solo artist. I mean, like, you can sit down and listen throughout the whole album, a Q-Tip album.
Yeah. Okay, so it doesn't sound like it affected him too much.
No, it didn't really affect him, but I mean, I really think, and this is outside looking in, that I think he loves doing music with his crew. But I think it's one of those things like, okay, I'm still gonna do that, but outside of that, I still gotta do my own thing if things are not really clicking or working. But they did the last album, I think it was after Fife passed away.
He passed away after they recorded the album.
Yeah.
But I think Tip just likes to produce and DJ now most of the time.
He's doing a lot of stuff. He's
Can I hear the question one more time, please?
Whose breakup had the most impact on their careers?
I'll answer.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna say
And again, this is how you spin it.
I'm gonna say even for I'll spin both sides.
Yeah.
But you still gotta pick one though. You still gotta pick your favorite your own favorite argument.
I'm going to say,
but I'd like to hear both.
OUTKAST.
Okay.
Because I feel like if they had still been making music, and this is going off of what Big Boy has done since they broke up, I mean, he's been very consistent. I think a lot of people have been sleeping on the projects that he's done.
Which is fire.
They have
Sir Luscious left foot stuff, all of that stuff.
They have been fire.
Yeah.
I think if it was still Andre 3000 with him, man, I don't know if they would be on top considering the climate of what's going on today, but they would still be very, very relevant.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say that Tribe wouldn't have, but I think Tribe has a lane, a very dope lane, but they have a lane, and I don't know if the youth then would gravitate to Tribe the way that they would gravitate toward OUTKAST.
I agree. I agree with that. I'll add one thing. Ali Shaheed went on to start Lucy Pearl.
Yep.
True.
He sure did.
True.
And you know, so that's the only thing that's the thing I would say to kind of throw into the conversation, just throw into the mix for dialogue's sake, is that
remember Skin.
Girl failed.
No, not really.
They failed. They didn't fail.
They broke up.
Okay.
Well, to piggyback off what Scan said, not to cut you off.
They cut the chick out and replaced her.
Lee Shaheed Muhammad he's also doing
with a Dungeon Family 6 Degree Separator. Joy.
Yeah. He's doing music for television shows now.
Yeah.
Artists.
He did the Luke Cage soundtrack.
Yes.
And he does stuff with Andre Young and all those dudes. Yeah.
Luke Cage soundtrack is insane. It's just a soundtrack, but it's just fucking really good. Not a lot of rapping on it. Just
it's a difficult question, man. I still don't know your question is what it is, but you know.
So listen, again, it's how you spin it. Like I said, you could find the positive side of it or the negative side of it. Whatever it is, just your argument has to speak for that particular person.
I'm gonna look at it as a positive for both, I guess, because at the end of the day, they're still doing things within that musical realm. So it's like it never stopped. Together, will they get back together? I would say never. But I mean, for now, it's just like there's still elements of their group still doing sound. So to pick one who's doing better, I would say on a grander scale, I would say maybe Tribe, because Q-Tip is doing stuff, Alicia Muhammad is doing stuff. And then if you want to throw loosely a Busta Rhymes in the mix, or
no, Fight is still doing stuff too.
Did have a single come out this year?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm like, wait a second.
Redman.
Did have a single come out this year, which was fine, and it's a Jay Dilla joint.
Right.
Yeah, Fife. But then you got to look at
Nutso, right?
Well, Consequence. He's writing for Kanye.
Boom.
So I would say Tribe on this one, bro.
Okay, there you go. That's your argument. I feel it. You're definitely putting your vote up for Tribe. Triple C. Triple C doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'll go in Tribes just so we can end this.
Whose drive-through chicken place would you go through?
Wow.
A Tribe Called Chicken, or Stankonia bucket of chicken? Which one?
The Tribe sound better. The chicken sound better. Yeah.
Tribe Called Chicken. No, so again, so when it comes to, like I said, the breakup, we know they broke up. Again, they got back together. It's awesome. But what did the breakup do?
The breakup gave them a movie, Michael Rappaport movie, that documentary.
Okay, so you're going with Tribe, I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let me ask this then, because this is still a weird question to me. What else is currently Big Boy doing now other than music? What projects does he have on the table?
He's selling puppies.
He's still making music. He is selling puppies.
He's a dog breeder, which will make a lot more money than music doing.
Yeah, but let's not forget. I mean, I don't know what else he's acted in, but don't forget, Big Boy was in the skating movie with T.I., right?
ETL.
Okay.
Yeah. Three Stacks was in the Jimi Hendrix movie that apparently is supposed to be super dope, but I don't know anyone that's seen it. Have any of y'all seen it?
I didn't know it came out.
His acting, it came out years ago. His acting was good. The movie is poorly directed.
Okay.
But he was in other movies as well too.
Other movies too. He was in what was that movie with Mark Wahlberg that was
Brothers or something like that?
Brothers. Okay.
The Four Brothers are brothers, but yes.
Four Brothers. That movie was dope. He was in what? Get Shorty. He was in Get Shorty.
Okay.
I think he was good in that shit too.
Okay, so he went more of the acting route.
Yeah.
Okay, and Tribe wise, what can we say for Tip? Because I guess Tip would be the main person.
Tip is
and Ali.
And Ali, excuse me.
So,
yeah, sorry.
Tip is doing I don't know how much music he's doing now.
Mm-hmm.
But I know he's the curator for the hip hop portion of the Kennedy Center, which is very dope.
Okay.
He's acted as well too in movies.
Yeah, because he was in that movie with Mary J. Blige, right? I mean, it was a BET movie, but I heard it was good.
Right.
Poetic Justice as well too.
Right.
I mean, do you count Poetic Justice? He got popped in that movie. Like,
hey, he was in it.
I was gonna say his fucking SNAP card sure counts it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
His IMDb shit sure counts it.
He got paid. He was in it, even if it was a blink.
Paid part, I don't know, but I think he probably.
And wasn't he in the movie that came out on TV? Or it was a BET.
Yeah, you're right there. The shitty BET shit with Mary J. Blige.
Yeah.
Where he was locked up.
I think that's literally what it's called.
Locked up. Okay.
I think it's something like that, like Locked Up or something like that.
Okay. I mean, if I'm just going,
you
I'm just
can
going
find the
right
positive.
back.
You could also go down the rabbit hole of all the negative stuff. Like it's all about the impactfulness. Doesn't have to be positive
Right.
or negative. Just whichever route you want to take. But where do you stand at, Scam?
I'm trying to find a easy way, you know, to figure out because I'm still torn with this one.
Who's the Baby Driver?
I don't even know.
What is
Malcolm Content said he was in She Hate Me as well too.
Yeah.
Malcolm
Okay.
Content.
Who was Andre?
I think no.
Tip.
Oh,
Tip.
Oh, She Hate Me, the Spike Lee joint. I was
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought it was from Cheese.
Who was in Baby Driver?
Jamie Foxx.
That was a good movie, actually.
I mean, I don't know, man.
You have to wrap it up, fellas.
All right. I mean, I guess I'll.
Yeah, it's
Huh?
okay. You can say OUTKAST. It's okay.
I mean, it's sounding that way according to the way, again, you guys.
Yeah, I'm just asking the question because it's still a weird question to me. So I'll go with OUTKAST.
It's really, like I said, that's why I said it's
I'll go
a big
OUTKAST.
question. Oh, you go.
I'll go OUTKAST.
Wow. Oh, shit.
I'll go OUTKAST.
What?
It's a strange question, man.
Okay, what makes it so strange? Tell me.
I mean, like I'm trying to just weed it out to a certain sense to see, because I guess I can see where you're trying to go, but to me, I guess I don't know, weighing it out to me is weird. But maybe that's the way I think.
And that's fine. Like I said, you can look at it, like I said, sort of like the most the most impact was on Tribe, for example. You could say and say something along the lines positive, like you've been saying. You also go negative, like it's been impactful to Tribe because like I haven't had another fucking Q-Tip solo album except for the first one. The Cabal the Abstract came out, but it didn't come out. Like it never came out, but you could find it.
Oh, can I pull a hobo and change my answer then, since we didn't declare winner?
No, I already.
Oh,
sorry, bro.
No.
I literally just.
Oh, no.
The ink is still wet, I think. Hold on.
Pobrecito. Claro que no.
Oh, brother. Let me add this on. Let me get my calculator out.
I have no more J Dilla beats.
Oh, fellas, again. And everybody watching at home and in the chat rooms, as always, participating. We've come to another end of a beautiful night of Who Do You Got, brought to you by the good people over at Eats, Beats, and Rhymes. Again, I'm your host, Jules DJ. Everybody in the room has been joining us every week, every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, we do it live on Twitch every week. So join us here again next Monday night. When it comes down to a Tribe Called Quest versus OUTKAST, the winner is... Tribe Called Quest.
Show.
I will say the following. The disclaimer at the end of the show, which I should have did at the beginning of the show. There's a lot of Queens people in the room.
Yeah.
The host.
Right.
Tried to be as biased as possible. So
right.
Not from New York in this conglomerate right now.
True. I offered up a bunch of people in the chat room the opportunity to join us. You know, I love that y'all chatted up. I love it. But y'all need to come stand your ground. Get in your milk crate. Triple C still in his milk crate.
Yo, Hobo's gonna cry, kid.
But we still love OUTKAST.
We love OUTKAST. We love
course.
But I'm just saying, this particular win was a little more heavy-sided towards the Tribe Called Quest side of things in terms of points. Other times it's very slim. This wasn't that slim. And like I said, I kind of get it because there's a bunch of Queens people in the room. And it's okay. You're allowed. Look at this guy. You're allowed to again, stand in your crate and represent your borough and your peoples and your music and your albums and whatever. It's all good. But shout out to everybody in the chat room who joins us every week. Shout out to everybody.
What up, chat?
Shout out to the chat room.
Yo, what up?
Yeah,
what up, chat room? What up?
8 p.m.
I'm still gonna say 3 Stacks is the best MC in this whole discussion. Damn it!
I don't know how you don't talk about that. Now you talk about it when we're about to sign off. Like that.
But you know what?
The questions didn't leave.
How does that not come up at some point? Like the fact that even Eminem goes, dude.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I agree with that.
The guy literally looks.
The votes.
Hold on 1 second. Hobo, look at the guy behind him. Look at the guy behind Hobo with the blonde hair. That guy.
Okay, I got an air hug for you, Hobo.
That guy with the blonde hair behind Hobo is considered one of the top 5 that are alive kind of guys. Triple C, the guy next to you with no shirt on, with the perm, the sweet Goldie perm, that shit that player ball kind of perm. Okay, just
Underrated.
glistening.
He's
That guy is
underrated.
considered one of the top 5 that are alive.
No dispute for me.
Yeah,
Yo,
And like I said, nobody.
I
kinda
can
brought
dig
that
it.
up. They saying it's bias out there, bro. They saying it's bias. I just want to put it out there. Disclaimer should have been in the beginning. A shout out to both of these great, iconic groups. Both of these groups will forever go down in history. Let's be clear. They're going down in the history books if we're ever lucky enough to get. Truth be told, I would love to see Hip Hop Hall of Fame, but no bullshit. These 2 groups can literally end up in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame one day.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
They should. They
Sure.
They
should.
both should. They both should.
They both should, and in all honesty, like have the kind of trajectory that kind of points that way. If their legacy continues the way that it does, they can eventually end up that way. Again,
Right.
hip hop is still so new; we don't know how hip hop's going to be like in another 50 years, right? So it's like at some point in time, hopefully when they're alive, they'll get their flowers. That'd be awesome. But even if they don't, they'll get their flowers one day. Tribe Called Quest to me is the modern day Grateful Dead of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So they're
Oh, it'd be dope if
Say
the
again?
tribe. It'd be dope if the OUTKAST would rhyme over some tribe tracks or something.
There's probably a mixtape that exists like that right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
3
I've
Stacks
seen
is on
Wu-Tang and Tribe joints. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw it. And
I
if
think
not,
3 Stacks on the
maybe we
album.
should work on it.
I think it's called a tribe called KAST or something like that. There is a
Oh,
Isn't 3 Stacks on Tribe's last album? He's on there.
yeah.
Yeah.
He sure is.
Yep.
He sure fucking is. And again, shout out to his verse on this Donda leak.
yeah.
But again, 3 Stacks always proves that he delivers. As much as he doesn't want to make music, like he fucking delivers.
Excuse me.
But again, thanks to my brethren in the room. Thanks so much for this. I had fun doing this. As always,
Fellas,
join us
peace.
next Monday night while we do this again. Follow us on Instagram to find out what the battle is going to be. And we'll do this all over again. To my peoples in the internet world, the internet, thanks for joining us. We'll do it again next week. And again, Tribe Called Quest has spoken. They're the winners for the evening. I guess the east side is the best side. Again, thank you very much. It's been fun.
Peace.
Good night to everybody in the room.
Peace.
Take care. Be safe, y'all. Be good.
Peace, fellas.
Peace, peace, peace.